Hello and welcome to Empire of Wargames. My name is Seplash and today I wanted to speculate a little bit on what Space Marine players can expect over the next year or year and a half when it comes to releases and stuff that is going to happen on Warhammer 40k. If you enjoy the content, consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribing, as well as checking the links down in the description below. Alright, let's get into the video. So, I am making a video about Space Marine releases, and that is nothing unusual because Space Marines are getting a ton of releases and I don't see that changing obviously. But we are getting a lot of other stuff for the next foreseeable future. We are going to get a couple more Elder releases over the next year. We are going to get World Eaters. Very soon we are going to get Chaos Space Marines. So there's a lot of other stuff happening, and recently we got Tyranids and so on. So let's talk a little bit about Space Marines and what I'm expecting for them over the next year and before 10th edition comes around. Now the first thing I wanted to talk about is 10th edition itself, because I think 10th edition is going to be delayed a little bit. First up, 9th edition had a chaotic start. It was right in the middle of Corona, and I think not a lot of people had the chance to actually play. Now things have gotten better a little bit when it comes to events, meeting people, getting into stores and actually playing the game, but it has only been recently, like for the past, I don't know, couple of months. And yeah, I think GW is probably going to delay 10th edition by about a year, and they are going to make 10th edition something big, something huge, and they are probably going to take their time for one, and they are going to try and catch up with everything they haven't released yet for 9th edition, and there's still a lot that they need to release. So yeah, now after all the other releases, Chaos Space Marines, Knights, Imperial Guard, World Eaters, after all of that has been handled, Chaos Demons obviously as well, I strongly suspect we are going to get more Space Marines, but specific ones. I think we are going to get a Black Templar style release for all the big chapters that you usually see featured. That means Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, and maybe Death Watch, but I'm not sure on that one. I think Death Watch is a little bit of a weird case, but Space Wolves, Dark Angels, and Blood Angels are probably going to see a release similar to the Black Templars one, simply because there's so much stuff that needs to be released and featured when it comes to these three factions that was featured previously. Space Wolves, Blood Angels, and Dark Angels have a lot of army-specific units that are still firstborn, and I absolutely see that changing over the next couple of months and years. And I think the start of that is going to be new supplements alongside a second Space Marine Codex before 10th edition, approximately a year before 10th edition. Now remember that this is all speculation and me just talking about it. There are no rumors about it, although there are rumors for a second Space Marine Codex, but not specifically for new supplements. But I feel like they are inevitable, and I think that, you know, more Death Company units, more Death Wing units or Raven Wing units are going to be released, and we are going to get more Space Wolf specific stuff upgraded to Primaris size and Primaris models. So yeah. Now, do I expect the 2.0 Space Marine Codex to actually release? I actually do think that is going to happen, because we had that last edition. Last edition was admittedly the first time that it happened, I think. Not 100% sure, but I absolutely see GW doing that again, especially if 9th edition is going to be a longer edition compared to the previous ones. Furthermore, I think a second Space Marine Codex is going to revitalize the range in terms of rules, and I think it's going to help sales, and thus GW is highly incentivized to, you know, revamping the Space Marine Codex, because as it stands, the Space Marine Codex and its supplements are a little bit stale, except for the Black Templar supplement, which I think is great, but it's also very recent. But the other supplements like the Space Wolves one, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Death Watch, and Space Marines are all fine and good, but they've been overshadowed definitely over the last couple of months, and I think GW's looking at updating that and, you know, pushing Space Marines back into the spotlight. And I think consequential releases after the second edition codex, or the 2.0 codex rather, is going to be Dark Angels, Blood Angels, and Space Wolves, with between 3 or 5 faction specific kits that are going to be primarisized or completely new to add to that, and to, you know, slowly but surely push Firstborn Marines further back. And you know, I think 10th edition is probably going to be the last edition where Firstborn Marines are going to be available. I think that is my speculation, and I think GW is going to phase them out after 11th edition or during 11th edition. So what do I expect Space Wolves, Blood Angels, and Dark Angels to get? As I said, for Dark Angels, I'm fully expecting Ravenwing bikes. I fully expect a specific Storm Speeder to be updated with cool angels on top, basically similar to the Land Speeder Vengeance, I think that it is called. I expect a cool Storm Speeder with awesome, you know, Dark Angels, visuals and icons and so on. And I expect it to have a lot more weapons than the current one has. So I also expect bikes. I expect the regular bike kit we have already to be updated a little bit, to have that iconic Ravenwing wing on the back. I expect it to have different weapons, different helmets, and visual designs. And I obviously expect it to be Dark Angels themed. And I think that is going to be entirely in the realm of possibility. And furthermore, I think we are going to get more units that are primarisized, that are going to be available for the Deathwing. We also already know that, for example, the Redemptor Dreadnought is able to be a Deathwing Dreadnought, and we also know that Blade Guard veterans are also able to be part of the Deathwing. So I think we are just going to get more units added to the Deathwing. I fully see units like, for example, specific aggressors being, you know, updated to something that is able to, you know, join the Deathwing. I don't actually see GW updating or true scaling Terminators, although Deathwing is very, very built around the idea of Terminators. And yeah, that one's going to be a difficult one for GW to figure out if they don't want to actually just primarisize Terminators straight up, because I think Gravis units are filling that niche. They're not the same, obviously, but they're similar. So yeah, that one's going to be difficult to figure out for GW, and I'm not sure how I would do that myself. So yeah, if you have any ideas about that, how the Dark Angels could have the Terminator style aesthetic and units without just straight up, you know, primarisizing or true scaling Terminators, let me know in the comments below. Now, when it comes to Blood Angels, there is obviously also a lot to add. There are Librarian Dreadnoughts that could be new. There are rumors for a new Dreadnought to release with different weapons and also to be around the same size of the Redemptor. So I could absolutely see one specific for Blood Angels releasing that is going to be a Librarian. I absolutely also see Dante and Astaroth and so on getting updates. Characters in general should be updated because most of them are very, very old, especially Dante. And that obviously applies to Dark Angels as well. Dark Angels have a lot of character models that are very, very old and they desperately need updating. And I can absolutely see that happening with a Black Templar style supplement release for those 3 Space Marine chapters I've been talking about. Other than that, I'm not sure what else could be added. A Ball Predator type tank specifically as an upgrade for, say, a Gladiator. So basically a Gladiator with Blood Angels iconography and a different turret and different weapons could already be enough to differentiate it enough for it to be an interesting model. But yeah, other than that, we have Death Company, although the Death Company we have is very, very boring. And there are also rumors for Space Marines that they are getting jump troops. And there have been already jump troops visible in a Space Marine video game trailer, if I'm not completely wrong. I think those were Primaris jump packs. So I absolutely see Death Company also benefiting from jump pack Marines. benefiting from the rumored Dreadnought. So a lot of the rumored models that are supposed to be released this year later on for Space Marines seem to be a good fit for Blood Angels. And for the Space Wolves, it's looking very, very similar, although the Space Wolves have a lot of chapter-specific models. We've already received an updated Ragnar Blackmane, and that model looks great, but there are already units that really need updating. Wolfguard Terminators or an aggressor variant would be great. Grey Hunters and Blood Claws basically could be an upgrade sprue for regular intercessors or assault intercessors. Beyond the Fell-Handed could be updated to a Redemptor, although I don't know how that would exactly work and if that's possible lore-wise. I'm not sure if they can just, you know, take the sarcophagus and just shove it into a Redemptor Dreadnought, but I'm sure someone will know. If there's something that is, you know, official lore and that states that is possible, let me know in the comments below, because I'm not certain right now. Other than that, there are also units that really need updating. Like, not really, but they would look insanely cool with Primaris-sized Marines on them, and that is Thunderwolf Cavalry. Those would look actually amazing. There are already a lot of conversions going around. People are converting them with assault intercessors on them and so on, and they look great. So yeah, Thunderwolf Cavalry updated would be great. The one thing I don't really think needs updating is the Stormwolf, for example, because they could just update it so it can transport Primaris Marines. That model is still absolutely fine. I don't see why they would not just allow, you know, Primaris Marines to be transported with it. But yeah, I'm not sure. GW is weird about that stuff. Other than that, we have named characters. I don't think Logan Grimnar is going to get a new model all that quickly because that model is quote-unquote recent. But when it comes to other models, other character models especially, like I think Ulrich the Slayer and so on, we have Rune Priests that are very old, Wolflord Crom. We have a lot of characters that are a little bit older, the Iron Priest. All of those models could use an update, but I don't think it's going to be quite that extensive. I think they're going to update one or two of the kits I mentioned. So for example, they are going to make an upgrade sprue for Blood Claws and, you know, Grey Hunters. They are going to update one or two characters, and they are probably going to update either a vehicle or something, depending on what that specific chapter offers. But other than that, yeah, the Black Templars release as a indicator how that could look like is, yeah, huge, because the Black Templars release was actually amazing. The things they released for that, the upgrade sprue is amazing, the units are great, the Combat Patrol is fine, and I really hope they are going to, but I don't think that's going to happen. I would have hoped that they would update said Combat Patrols for those factions, because most of the Space Marine Combat Patrols are very generic if you look at them. They're not bad, but the Space Wolves one could use a little bit more, you know, Space Wolfy units and not whatever you get in the Space Wolves Combat Patrol, and the same applies for the others. But yeah, those are my speculations. I absolutely see a lot of things happening for other chapters, because I think GW has understood, at least that much, that we think that Primaris Marines are a little bit too clean, too whatever, and they're meant to be kit bashed and changed, and I understand that. But when it comes to the base chapters that have been around and featured, like the Space Wolves, Blood Angels and Dark Angels, I think there needs to be a specific release similar to Black Templars for those chapters, and I can absolutely see that still happening in 9th edition. Is it all going to happen in 9th edition? Who knows? Probably not, but we'll have to wait and see. If you have any opinions on this, any theories, if you've heard any rumors, or if you have anything lore-wise to add to what I've been talking about, like for example, transferring a Dreadnought sarcophagus from an old Dread into a, for example, Redemptor Dreadnought, if that is possible, drop it down in the comments below. I would love to read that and discuss things there. Other than that, thank you so much for listening. I see you in the next one. Bye bye.